Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming today. Good morning. Saturday, April 13th, next Saturday, is our last masterclass and our last opportunity to have a 2-hour session with Lama Surya. It's going to be on the Kayas, intermingled wakefulness of our Buddha bodies. You can still sign up. Hope that I see you there because it really sounds awesome. Coming up is live day-long virtual retreat with Lama Surya Das, April 27th and June 8th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's an opportunity to do a day-long little mini retreat right in the comfort of your own home. And again, go to dzogchen.org. And if you register for one or both, you can save 10%. So check that out. Lama is here with us. Again, thank you everybody for being here, and thank you, Lama. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dor.
Thank you.
Dory from New Hampshire, Queen of the White Mountains. Hello, everybody, and happy Sunday it is. What a beautiful day. I just picked some daffodils out of my garden. And it's a beautiful day. April, baseball season here in New England. Push the slush to the sidelines, please. Oh, yeah. Monday is an eclipse. Yes, please join us Saturday for the last master class of this 4th year session. There will be other teachings and master classes starting in September, another series of 8 or 9 once a month. This is a subject that everybody reads about, a few people talk about, teach about, not in great detail. It's hard to get access to it or use it, but the doctrine of the kayas and wisdoms, the 3 kayas, the 4 kayas, the 5 kayas, who's counting, generally called the 3 kayas, common to the sutra teachings and also the mantra, tantra, vajrayana teachings. Very interesting. So come and join us. Very interesting. And the 3 jewels, the 3 kayas, our body, speech, and mind, all inseparable, and how to tune into that, recognize that, awaken and energize that, and channel that great Buddha energy into the world. Not just solid Buddha bodies, statues, and paintings, but Buddha Dharma, liberating wisdom, and Buddha heart, love, and compassion, and altruism and generosity, definitely. Those are the 3 kayas: emptiness, radiance, and manifestations. Anyway, let's have a moment of silence here as we try to eclipse the wars and violence at home and abroad, and dare mention domestic, hopefully not in your house or your family. Wars and bombings and war crimes and cruelty, hate of others, prejudice in the Ukraine, in Gaza, in the Holy Land, and really so many places in the world today. Let's try to eclipse that with the sun of loving kindness and compassion and awakened wisdom. And have a moment of silence here as we warm up to the eclipse tomorrow. I'm going to say afternoon because that's Eastern time. Moment of silence, including all in our practice, our Sangha community and spiritual family, and embracing them with the wings of our heart and prayer, inclusive, equal to all, loving and caring. It took the great folk singers Simon and Garfunkel to name it The Sound of Silence, echoing the ancient Buddhist sutra, well known to Mahayana Buddhists, to Himalayan Buddhists, the Vimalakirti Nirdesa Sutra, the scripture, the story, the parable of the enlightened layman Vimalakirti. You can call him V for short, or the V-man superhero. All the bodhisattvas, arhats, monks, and nuns came to visit, hearing that he was sick, and all fit into his very tiny, 6x8 room, his sick room, through the magic of interpenetrativeness and realization of sunyata and selflessness, and non-self, and so on, non-separation. They all fit into that room, and they all bowed and asked for his wisdom. And he invited them, each of them, to speak and give their wisdom, and this comprises the whole sutra, leading all the way up to the wisest of the wise. Who would that be but Manjusri, the Buddha of wisdom, with his upraised sword of wisdom, flaming sword of wisdom, illuminating the dark sky, the darkness of ignorance. And after Manjusri said some most profound words about shunyata and no separation and not holding on to anything, which in any case is fleeting and unowned and ungoverned, then they bowed down to the master. And they asked him how he is. And he said, I will be healed when all are healed. And they requested the final word on Prajna Paramita, transcendental wisdom, immanent gnosis, Prajna Paramita, wisdom. And the sutra says, and it still vibrates and resounds down to us today, perhaps 2,000 years after being written down, the V Sutra says, and his silence, and the silence resounded like thunder. And the silence resounds like thunder. That was Vimalakirti's final word. And they all bowed and said, what did they say? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So be it, so it is. May it be so, in the traditional form of agreement and thanks to the Buddhist culture of India at that time. Silence ain't nothing, it's really something, ain't it? Something to get into, to dig into. Even not just outer silence, but how about silence in the mind? And I'm not suggesting flatlining your brain. I'm just saying the mind can be sometimes more quiet, less chattery, less internal monologue, not to mention worries, repetitive thought patterns, obsessions, perseverating and ruminating, chewing your mental cud again and again like a cow, like a camel, like a ruminant, ruminating, perseverating, nam-toking, as we say in Tibetan, kind of chiching, like cicadas, nam-toking, extra discursive, sticky, extra discursive thinking, chains of thought that entangle us. Yes, with concentration, with awareness, with purification practices, etc., we can quiet and calm our minds and find nirvanic peace, or at least temporary peace and serenity, relaxation, flow. So healing, so healthy for us all. So tomorrow isn't the eclipse, the solar eclipse people are talking about. You can read the facts about it. I know a lot of people, some people around here, many people in the continent are flocking to the path of it from Texas and New Mexico sort of border up to northern Vermont, up to northwest Maine to see it. Don't look at it directly, need I say. There are glasses for that if you want, even given out at the library or available many places, including Amazon. Solar eclipse, where the sun seems to be completely eclipsing the moon. And they say there'll be a few minutes, let's call them moments of darkness during the day. In Eastern time, in the state of mind called New Hampshire, that Dory and Menla are from, the granite state, where people themselves are solid like granite. I don't mean that as like dense. I mean like Menla and Dory, like solid benches. Good people. The salt and spice of the earth. It's around 2 p.m., 1:40 p.m., whatever it is, tomorrow afternoon. So check it out in your own time zone if you're interested. In the Buddhist tradition, full moon and new moon, of course, using the ancient lunar calendar that predates our Gregorian Western calendar, with its months of 30 days each and its leap year and that funny business. The lunar calendar, where each month has 4 weeks, and the phases of the moon, full moon, the new moon, and all that. They say, we say, it has long been said that when these cosmic forces, these heavenly bodies, these inner and outer energies, whatever you want to call them, tides, winds, prana, chi, flow, spirit, when these inner and inner and macro and micro energies and subtlest visible energies are in different configurations or balances, like the full moon is when at sunset the moon rises, if you haven't noticed. Balance. Rather than the sun sets and the moon hasn't risen yet, and there's a crescent moon or a half moon or whatever. So full moon and new moon and the quarter moons are celebrated like the 4 Sundays of the month, the 4 auspicious days of the year, of the month, every month. And the equinoxes equal spring and summer, equal length of day and night, the equinoxes. And the solstices and the eclipses are also very interesting configurations. And if you think, these, what some might call marginal or far away, irrelevant, or who knows, mysterious, or magical, or hard to corroborate differences in positions of the cosmos, like it's too small to matter, we can't tell, even though it's much bigger bodies than any of us, or all of humanity maybe, the celestial bodies and their movements. Think about the energies, the gravities, the lunar gravity that makes the tide or the daily movements and so on of the outer sea. If you think that is too small to notice, you might consider thinking again and just try to put yourself in a slightly, even the most slightly unusual imbalance right now. Like close your eyes. Such a small thing. Doesn't that change so much, or seem to? Eclipse the vision with the eyelids. Or close one eye and open the other eye, maybe like a half eclipse. Does that not change your situation, your attention? Not even what you're paying attention to. It just changes your orientation. Like if one headlight goes on while you're driving, you notice right away. If you have one eye closed, you don't really have depth perception and balance and other things that we don't even notice while we're sitting down like this. So it's so interesting to notice the astrology, the astronomy, the science of astronomy, the softer science of astrology, and other cosmic maps and ways of thinking about things, and using them to further our purpose and our benefit, individually, collectively, even globally, even to rebalance our degraded environment and global climate change problems. So we say, it is said in our tradition, if you chant certain things, if you do virtuous actions and generosity around the time or at the time of the eclipse, the benefits are multiplied 1,000 times. I like this kind of thinking. It's part of my favorite scripture, The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment. Why not do it at the time when it's most multiplicable? When there's matching merits, matching benefits from the cosmic arrangements to everything we do, like matching grants. If you donate, somebody else donates the same amount, who's already pledged to match whatever is donated to a charitable cause, matching donations. So if we practice at that time, specifically in the Dzogchen tradition, in the Nyingma tradition, if we chant and practice Kuntuzampo's prayer, it's called the Kunzang Munlam. Google it. There's translations, there's Tibetan. Maybe you can even hear people, lamas, good tunes and voices, chanting it, practicing it. Kuntuzampo's Munlam, Kunzang Munlam for short. In I say in English, in Sanskrit, Samantabhadra's aspiration prayer, Samantabhadra, Kuntuzampo, the primordial Buddha, Samantabhadra's aspiration prayer, Munlam, the Kuntuzampo Munlam, Kunzang Munlam. I thought I would read it, but it's long. It's like 3 or 4 pages, 5 pages. I mean, come on, kids. If you want 1,000 times matching grants of merits and wisdoms to accrue tomorrow, in one day, even in 1 hour or a few minutes during the eclipse, when everything, all the synapses in the universe are sparking or are connected. When I don't know about electricity, but the voltage is really amped up. Tune in, ride the wave, draft after the other sailboats or bicyclists. It'll help you along and help us all along. So in our monasteries and our retreat centers in the Himalayas, we always chant this Kuntuzampo Munlam, which was translated, one of the first prayers translated. It was among my friends in like 1970 or 71. Maybe Keith Dowman did the first attempt. And the Kanjar Rinpoche and Tupa Pema Wangel's gracious and patient guidance as people were trying to learn Tibet in 1970, Darjeeling and Nepal and Dharamsala and somewhat in universities. There are more modern translations. There are books on it called Samantabhadra's Prayer by somebody or other, Rinpoche, a good Rinpoche. Dzogchen Punlap Rinpoche, if you must know. Punlap, you can look it up, Punlap Rinpoche of Seattle. Anyway, it starts, the whole prayer, it's not really a prayer wishing for something. It's all Dzogchen Pith instructions. And let this be the beginning for our guided meditation, where it says, there's one fundamental ground of being and 2 paths, samsara and nirvana. Take your pick. Everything is in the mind, heaven and hell, nirvana, everything. Don't be deceived by mere appearances and your own projections and interpretations. And so on. It goes on in a wonderful vein, as if Kuntuzampo is speaking to itself, herself, himself, themselves. The whole crowd is there, including us. So when you chant it, you lend your voice. You join the chorus. I don't know, I think of it this way, like Kuntuzampo, the primordial Buddha, Samantabhadra, whose name means all good, all perfect, all whole, all complete. Like Kuntuzampo, Kunzang, one of my Tibetan names, Kunzang, chant through you. Lend Kunzang, your lips, your tongue, your throat, your vocal cords, your breath, your energy, your chi, your prana, your intention, your attention. There's more to chanting than just parroting prayers. I haven't even mentioned thinking about the meaning, but being an instrument of what religionists usually call the higher power. Buddhists might call it the inner power. I don't know. Not separate from us. Put yourself in service of something greater than any of us, than all of us. Transcendent over all of us, yet immanent, inherent, indwelling in each of us. Kuntazampo, the natural great completeness or wholeness. All good, all perfect, all complete. Shadows and light, sides of life. If we look deeply into the non-dual, into the oneness, the unity level, we see that shadows are made of nothing but light. Check it out. It's science. If you believe in that. I do, generally. So, Kuntazampos. I was going to talk, I had a subject here. I was going to talk about identity according to this that I was just reading, one of my neighbor kids' books. I love these things, gives me all kinds of ideas. The many faces of Surya, of each of us, of Ernie. Identity, who are we really? What kind of self and self-world, self-empire, self-image we've been creating since we were conscious enough to do so, since we separated from our mother, the umbilical cord level even, since we, as an infant, found out there's another, not just one big thing, a small thing, just one, and started to create our world and our object relations, how we relate to others and other things, including things that come up inside of us, beyond outside and inside. And the desires and aversions that come along with that, feeling of separateness and need. Of course, we need to eat and drink and later and other things, shelter and so on. But how much? That's the question. How much? So, we're all Kuntazampo by nature. Let's not reach out or try to push away anything and fall off our lotus throne, our diamond throne. That's what they call the Vajra seat in Bodh Gaya, the diamond throne that Buddha sat on, even though he sat on the dirt under the tree. Now there's a statue and it's on a platform. The Vajra throne. Sit on your Vajra seat, throne, whatever you call it, high chair maybe for Americans. Tall, higher is get higher, you know. Sit on your Vajra high chair. Settle on your lotus seat. And let everything settle and flow. Kuntazampo's American Buddhas, awaken. Open your eyes. Blue is an orange. Throw off your chains, your namtos, your discursivity and doubts and ruminations, projections and interpretations. American Buddhas, or wherever you're from, awaken. It's now or never, as always. Assume your Buddha seat, your Buddha throne, your high chair. Maybe you're the man in the high tower, as some dick or other says, calls it. I think it was Philip Dick, a great science fiction type of writer. Who is the higher self in the high tower, in the high chair? Settled always on the ground of being, whether we forget or remember. See through everything. Rest on your laurels, on your high seat, on your lotus seat, and be free. Assume your Buddha seat. Who do you think you are not? May all beings everywhere who are just like us and want to need the same as we do and suffer and wander. May you all be awakened, liberated, healed, free. May the violence and terror, wars, and multiple slayings, and bombing, and terrorism be quelled, be resolved, be dealt with better. May we have peace and harmony, become better people for a better world, for all beings, for our own family, including these sterling aspirations and intentions today. Love for one and all, love unconditional, selfless, divine. Breathing it out and breathing it in mutual reciprocity, exchanging self and others beyond separation, beyond self and other, seeing the unity and diversity, the common thread, the threads, the warp and weave that holds us all together. United we sit, divided we fall, as they say. United we sit, co-meditating, intermeditating together, interbeing, as Thich Nhat Hanh like to call it, co-meditation for interbeing with each other, interbeing with all humans, interbeing with all creatures, co-meditating, interwoven with all things, part of nature, part of this world, this globe, this energy, the outer and inner nature, green nature, mother nature, Buddha nature. From farm to table or to high seat, direct, dig it, put our teeth into it, digest it, grok it, make part of ourselves. This unity, vision with the vast diversity of the millions of things. And settled, relaxed, at ease, whole, at home. I'm assuming a Buddha seat, why not? If you think you're not. Let go and let Buddha do it. Go for your body, speech and energy, vision, heart, mind, to the higher purpose, the higher power, something greater than each of us, in all of us. The inner power, as I like to call it. Awareness with a capital A. Ineffable presence with a capital P. Buddha nature, use heart, mind. What word can F, ineffable, express the inexpressible. Just sitting, just breathing, just being, to the Zampo. Hey, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one else to be. Just being itself, not even a separate being, just being. That's Dzogchen, Dzogchen meditation. Maho, way to go, thank you. Be heard. Be Maho. Rest in the ultimate sphere, the Dharmakaya, the big picture, the big Tigli, the big circle, the ultimate sphere, all embracing. Open your heart and mind. To that, decontract the aperture, the fist of ego, of self. Spoke at your heart. Release at ease. First attention, then at ease. Bodhisattvas. Spiritual warriors, not warriors. Awakeners, compassionators, bodhisattvas. Use the Buddhists to be. Awakening now. Awareness, aware of awareness. Awareness with a capital A plus. Just being with a capital B plus. See? That's the Dharma. Like the Alphabet Sutra. Oh, we could go on. Enjoy the big release. What a relief. You Wizards of Oz, you astronauts. I was a teenage statue, but I'm much more dancing Buddha now. Sword of the Buddha, the Z-Man, superhero. Placing Kuntazampo and the Buddha upon my head as is traditional in tantric visualizations, and channeling the Kunzam Munlam, which I'm not going to read all, but you can Google it. Good translation at Lotsawa House. Maybe Leslie can write these foreign words in the chat so people can look them up. This is called in English by this translation, Adam Piercy, very excellent translator. The powerful aspiration prayer of Kuntazampo from the Tantra of the Great Perfection that reveals the all-penetrating wisdom mind of Samantabhadra Buddha. Yay! Ho! All that appears and exists, samsara and nirvana, has one ground, one basis, and two paths and two forms of results, samsara and nirvana. The magical displays of awareness and unawareness, both, manifesting in this way as if two. Through this, Samantabhadra's prayer of aspiration and awakening may all attain complete and perfect, irreversible enlightenment within the palace of the Dharmadhatu, the absolute sphere. It goes on. You can read it. There's great stuff in here. Beyond names such as samsara and nirvana, all things are self-originating, expanse, shunyata, and awareness mixed. This itself, when recognized, is awakening. But in their ignorance, beings wander in samsara. Oh, woe! May all sentient beings throughout the three realms, the three dimensions of existence, realize the profound meaning of this ineffable, innate ground. I, Samantabhadra, can you say this? Can you chant this? Can you stand on this? I, Samantabhadra, know the ground, the fundamental reality, which is without and prior to cause or condition, self-originating, unspoiled by affirmation or denial, unstained by the darkness of unmindful delusions. When abiding in genuine intrinsic awareness, there is no fear, there is no doubt, there is no worry. May all beings in the three realms realize great awakening in the innate great perfection. And it goes on. You can read this, Kunzang Lam, Samantabhadra's prayer, whatever it's called in different translations. Wonderful. Used to be hard to get a hold of these things, these secret tantric texts, and even the translations. I remember Keith Dowman was one of the pioneering, at least American scholar translators. When I first met him in 71 or 72 in Darjeeling, and his girlfriend, Dr. Terry Clifford, became a friend of mine too, author of Tibetan Buddhist Medicine and Psychiatry. Look it up, the seminal work on that subject. Tibetan Buddhist medicine and psychiatry, published by Weiser, I think. He was one of the first translators, and he was struggling along to translate some of these words. Like, does Munla means prayer? Does it mean aspiration? Does it mean intention? Does it mean like forceful utterance? And things like that. Does shunyata mean emptiness or voidness, or the overflowing void, the womb of emptiness, the mother of all the Buddhas? What does shunyata really mean? Subjectivity, the luminous void. Is emptiness really a complete translation? And so on. So friends and colleagues who've been working on this for 50 years. Anyway, homage to Keith Dowman and Tukapema Wangyal, his Gigan, his mentor, his kind tutor, and mine too, from those days, still alive in Dordogne, France. Homage to Tukapema Wangyal Rinpoche and his whole family, Kanjo Rinpoche's family, so kind and gracious, really impeccable, saintly, especially to us. So these days there are other translations, and you can look these things up. You can Google it. It can pop out of your printer or your whatever, beam into your Dick Tracy watch, and probably be spoken out verbally while you work on your Peloton machine or whatever you do today. Watch the NCAA playoffs. In case you don't know, the women's are this afternoon. Tomorrow night is the men's finals. March Madness, if you like that kind of thing. I do. Fantastic. Young stars, Olympiads. So if Buddhism eschews the notion of a separate creator God, eternal soul, things like that, then who would Samantabhadra, the primordial Buddha, be praying to? What the hell? What kind of prayer does he have? So I asked Dudjom Rinpoche once, our late great guru, Dzogchen master, head of the Nyingmapa lineage for many years, author of so many great things, poet, wisdom master. Who does Samantabhadra pray to? Who would that prayer be to or for? And he said, of course, in Tibetan, so it's translated, the self-resound of the Dharmata, or the true nature, like the Om or the hum of the universe. Not praying and asking for anything, but including everything. So my friends and I, we were supposed to recite this 108 times on the days in our monastery of the equinox and the solstice. So we would call it self-resound. People wash and repeat. And then we go again, like a combination of a washing machine, a dryer, a steam ironer at the dry cleaner level, and a whole cosmic conglomeration of good karma, at least good intentions and aspirations, and also joy, the joy of practicing together on the path, being there while getting there every step of the way, not waiting. So, a few thoughts for the day about eclipses, about primordial Buddha, about higher and inner power in Buddhism and other things. Any questions? Please. At the master class, I'm going to talk about the kayas and gnosis or wisdom's kayas, Buddha bodies, not just bodies, but meditational archetypes or deities, bodies and shapes and forms, energy bodies, and so on. Secret realms and lands, how to access them, just beneath the surface of this world is another world, as many have said throughout the millennia. Rightly or wrongly, find out for yourself if you're interested. May I say I did? I don't know. That's just my opinion that I did. It's coming out in my memoir, I must admit. Things that I really haven't let myself talk about in 40, 30, 50 years. Anyway, any questions? Miss Dory.
I don't have any questions today.
Hey.
Wait, somebody said pith instructions, question mark.
Does that mean do you want hear some, or what is a pith instruction? I'll take the easier one. A pith instruction means a pithy instruction, not a whole sutra, a sermon, a whole lecture, a whole volume of teachings that the Buddha gave at some time, or a long commentary, not a Vajra song of enlightenment, but something boiled down and pithy, like let go and let be.
Let go or get dragged.
Something essential and essentialized from a lot more teachings about non-attachment, letting go, attachment, desire, the benefits and costs of holding on too long to permanent, that's impermanent anyway, and so on. So that's a pith instruction.
Okay.
Wisdom maxim or slogan. Like see everything like a dream, like a fantasy, like a sitcom, as Buddha said, or something like that. In the longer sutra called the Diamond Sutra, that would be a pith instruction. You find these words of wisdom everywhere. I don't know. That Roman emperor's Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, full of them, the philosopher king. Marcus Aurelius of Rome, I think. Might have been Greece, but I think it's Rome. Montaigne's essays are like books of wisdom, each one, even each paragraph. Check it out. He's not a American white entitled author. He's diverse. He's French. Check him out. The original essayist who created the form of essays, Montaigne. There's a G in there somewhere, don't worry. Anyway, pithy instructions, words of wisdom. There's plenty in the Bible too, Jesus is saying, especially the short ones that boil it all down. What did he say? Love is the way, the truth, and the light, something like that. Anyway, just free translating. Any other questions, Dory? You seem full of vim and vigor today, as usual.
No, we don't have any other questions.
Light up. Look at that smile.
But I do have a request about donating to Dzogchen Center so we can help reach more people and carry on Lama's mission of transmission. Also, don't forget membership. They say membership has its privileges. That's true. Offers discounts to programs, special yearly member-only events. And don't forget, you got the library. It's amazing. So check it out.
Where is that? Library in my basement?
Yeah, in your basement. Oh my gosh, just like that. Well, this is the digital library. I hope you all join us next week for number 8 of All About the Kayas. I'm looking forward to it, and take care. Thank you, Lama, as always. Thank you. Thank you, Menla. I couldn't do this without you either.
I couldn't either. Thank you all.
So thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.